Before the world knew atomic bombs, before it saw the horrors of World War II, there was another war. A war that changed borders. A war that broke empires. A war that took millions of lives and gave birth to modern history. This is the story of World War I, the Great War, where it began, why it burned, and how it still echoes through time. It all started with one bullet. The date was June 28, 1914. In a city called Sarajevo, something happened that changed the world. A young man shot and killed Archduke Franz Ferdinand, the future king of Austria-Hungary. It was more than just an assassination. It was a spark, and Europe was full of dry leaves, ready to burn. Country after country jumped into the fight. Austria attacked Serbia. Russia stood with Serbia. Germany supported Austria. France and Britain joined in too. In just a few weeks, the world was at war. People thought the war would be short. Some even thought it would be over by Christmas. But they were wrong. They were marching into a war that would take the lives of millions. After the war began, it spread fast, not just across Europe, but all over the world. Countries from Asia, Africa, and even faraway islands joined in. Some wanted power. Others were forced to help their empires. The war was everywhere. On land, in the air, at sea. But the worst part was in the trenches. Soldiers dug deep holes in the ground to hide from enemy fire. They lived there for months, cold, wet, hungry, and afraid. The trenches were filled with mud, rats, and disease. Every day they waited, waiting for the next attack, waiting for orders, waiting to survive. New weapons made things worse. Machine guns, tanks, flamethrowers, and deadly gas. The sky itself became dangerous. Poison gas floated across fields. It burned eyes, choked lungs, and brought silent death. It was no longer about winning. It was about staying alive. This war didn't just belong to Europe anymore. It became a world war, with soldiers coming from every corner of the globe. From India, Africa, Canada, Australia, and many more places, men were sent to fight in a war that was not truly theirs. Over 1 million Indian soldiers left their homes to fight in cold, muddy lands they had never seen before. They believed they were fighting for honor, for duty, and maybe for freedom. But what they found was fear, pain, and death. These soldiers fought bravely, side by side with others. But many of their stories were forgotten. Back home, families waited. Some received letters, others received silence. The world was truly at war now, and no place felt safe anymore. After 4 long years of fighting, the world was tired. Cities were destroyed. Millions were dead. People had lost brothers, sons, fathers, and friends. The soldiers were broken, not just in body but in spirit. In 1918, something finally changed. One by one, the Central Powers began to fall. Germany, once strong and proud, was now weak and alone. On November 11, 1918, the guns finally went silent. Soldiers on both sides stopped shooting. The war was over. But peace did not come easy. In 1919, the Treaty of Versailles was signed. It blamed Germany for the war and punished it heavily. Some hoped this would stop future wars, but others feared it would only make things worse. World War I was more than just a war. It changed the world forever. Old empires fell. New countries were born. Maps were redrawn. And people looked at life differently. More than 16 million people died. Many more were wounded, in body and in heart. It was the first time the world saw machines used for mass destruction. The first time gas tanks and airplanes were used to kill on such a large scale. It was called the war to end all wars. But sadly, it wasn't. Only 20 years later, the world would face an even deadlier war. Even today, we still feel the effects of World War I. In our politics, in our borders, in our fears, and in our silence. When we see photos of young soldiers who never got to grow old, we remember them, because if we forget, it could all happen again.